Now, even if your intentions were to give this manager a chance to find some synergy on the pitch, some time, to give him every confidence that you're behind him, there comes a point where time is up. I feel like we're there right now. Chelsea once again lose at home, this time to Aston Villa 2-0. Let's get into it.
And blue is the colour.
Greetings! Welcome back to Couch Critic with me, Dennis P. for what is your Chelsea match review, but more specifically, a tactical synopsis of Chelsea's performance, or lack thereof, against Aston Villa. But before we get into all that, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button. As you know, we are trying to grow this channel, and every like goes a long way in ensuring that we can do so. It will help me, and it will help my sponsors who go by the name of Major League Socks. And fellas, if you ever want to walk in the footsteps of greatness, you know what to do. Link is in the description. Now, throughout the course of this year, you guys have seen many shades of my personality come to the fore. You see me be excited, joyful. You see me be discontented, like completely angry, just with the fact that we can't string together 2-3 wins. But today, what you're going to see, the majority of what is coming out of me right now is just confusion. I just don't understand what's happening with this club. 7 wins since September. 7 wins in the Premier League. That is unheard of. I mean, even by accident, we should be able to get to 10 wins. Just by accident, just by the mere playing staff that we have. We should be able to coax 10 wins out of this club at the very minimum. And here we are sitting 11th in the table with 10 games left to play and no way out of it. We still don't have an identifiable style of play. We still don't have something that is the hallmark of our football that we can hang our hat on. Nothing. Now, I'm trying to avoid making this a rant, but there's so many things that are just upsetting me after seeing Chelsea lose 2-0 to Aston Villa at home after an international break. Obviously, there's challenges coming back from the international break. You don't have a lot of time to prepare the squad. Guys are coming from all over the world, different levels of fatigue and whatnot. But the baseline that I want to see is effort. Like, show me that you care. You care. Show me that every minute on the pitch is one that counts. Show me that you know that you're in the Premier League and, we're fighting for points. And I just don't see this in this club. I don't see this burning desire to win games. And I really feel like the personality of the manager is just permeating throughout the entire club right now. This bland, expressionless, lack of passion that we're seeing right now is an extension of the manager onto the pitch. Now, I should make this clear. I don't have anything against Graham Potter personally. I think he's a likable guy. He seems to have a demeanor that is likable to me. He's like very stoic on the sidelines and whatnot. I just don't happen to think that particular mentality, that particular temperament is what works at the highest level of competition, which is where Chelsea aim to be. You need somebody that can really invigorate the squad and get them to play, understand what you want to do, and put the dog in them. I just don't feel like he has that in his makeup. After every loss, it's like the guys gave everything. I'm sick and tired of hearing that. And we all know that that's not everything, because everything that this squad should be able to produce should culminate in wins and goals and whatnot. When you come off the pitch after a disappointing 2-0 loss at home to mid-table Villa, and you go into your presser and you say the lads gave everything, which is becoming a bit of a broken record if I'm being honest right now, that in and of itself diminishes the level of expectations at this club and diminishes the standard at this club as well. So I don't want to hear that after a disappointing loss. I want to hear that, yeah, we need to be better. I need to know that this manager understands that level is not high enough for us to succeed. I mean, for the life of me, we had Tyrone Mings, we had Callum Chambers, we had Ashley Young, who's about 70 years old right now, and we could not pierce that back line for 1 goal, and you're telling me that the lads gave everything? Nah, dog, that ain't it, man. That ain't it. I'm sorry. If that's what you think it is, then you're obviously not the right man for the job. And of course, halfway through editing my video, they decided to sack him. Finally. I don't even know. I haven't even been able to like really gather my thoughts and collect myself before I had to put this video out. I was halfway through editing my Aston Villa review where I was just chastising every decision that this manager's making and trying to justify, trying to find reasons to justify how he can even have a job at this point. 7 wins since September, despite having spent more than $500 million to support him with a playing staff and whatnot. And not to mention the talent that existed on the roster before he even came. He hasn't shown anything. Like, there's been no progression within the playing staff. Like, players are not getting better. As a matter of fact, they're regressing. The performances have just gotten dire. We found a way to play. We had that one little bump in form after the Dortmund game or during the Dortmund game where we found a playing style. We started playing a little bit more on the counterattack. And, of course, we switched to a back three. And ever since then, ever since that moment where we found that little bit of form, the playing style has just regressed once again. So clearly something had to be done after seeing no progression in the playing staff. We have a very young playing staff. We haven't seen an elevation in their style of football, their understanding on the pitch. We've seen them regress, as a matter of fact. Players looking worse than they had previously at previous clubs and whatnot. We haven't seen an identifiable style of play. We basically have resorted back to the football where we were playing to under Tuchel, and so I've seen mixed results there. And there was nothing tangible happening under this manager. Yes, we got 1 and 2 results in the Champions League where, of course, the players will just rise to the occasion naturally because it's a big competition. But the entire time, we're still seeing this manager not being able to coax high-level performances against our most feared rivals at home, against, low-level opponents. Southampton, of all teams, 20th in the table, coming to Stamford Bridge and bossing it. Like, those are just unacceptable performances. And for that reason, I'm glad finally Todd Boehly and his directors have come to the conclusion that this is not the right manager for us right now. I understand that we want to give people time to work in their ideas and whatnot, but we haven't seen any progression. That's the problem. I have not seen any progression. I have not seen anything that is endearing me to the football that this guy's was trying to instill at this club. There was absolutely nothing. We can argue and gripe and moan about like not having a striker and not having, a guy that can really just unlock defenses and whatnot. But ultimately, we haven't seen anything anywhere else on the pitch. There's nothing. We spent close to more than £500 million to bring in the likes of Enzo Fernandez. We got Mudryk. We got Madueke. We bring on Felix on loan. We have Koulibaly. We have Raheem Sterling. Like, I can go on and on. Cucurella, and every one of those players under this manager has regressed. You can argue that Enzo hasn't had enough time to regress, but he's borderline regressing. It's just unreal. It's unfathomable that we have the playing staff that we've assembled and he still has not been able to work out a playing style that is conducive to producing wins with the players that we've had on the pitch. And we're not talking about against high level. We're not talking about against Man Cities or even the way Arsenal's playing right now. We're talking against Southampton, Everton, teams that are scrapping at the bottom of the table right now. So justifiable in this sacking, and I'm so glad that it's happened now. Now we have to look forward to what the next manager can bring to this club. Who should we be targeting? I mean, the names are out there. There's too many good managers out there for this guy to be keeping his job after 7 wins since September. There's too many good managers out there. You have Enrique, who's out there, who obviously took Barcelona, a very good Barcelona team, obviously, to a treble. He's now taken over Spain and saw them get through the quarters and whatnot. Not the most impressive, but again, when you look at that Spain squad, it's not exactly, they're certainly in a transition, and it's not the most, mind-blowing playing staff that he has to play there, but they're still playing very good attacking football. You look at Nagelsmann, who just got let go at Bayern, who probably is the favorite to take over just because his former sporting director Vivell has now been championing him at Chelsea. And I'm not necessarily blowing my horn for Nagelsmann to come in, but I really did think that there needed to be a change. And if you were allowing our sporting directors to make the decisions, the technical staff to make the decisions about who they want to work with, which did not happen on Graham Potter. We did not have that directors board assembled at the time when we brought in Graham Potter. Was decisions that was made by our owners. We have to give them the opportunity to work with the players or with the manager that they want to work with. And clearly Vivell has worked with Nagelsmann before and has an understanding of what kind of football he wants to play. They have a working relationship already. Makes all the sense in the world to bring in Nagelsmann right now just because of the squad and the directors that we've assembled. It doesn't come without any flaws. It doesn't come without, trepidation. It doesn't come without the necessary risk. But at the same time, this is a risk I'm willing to take given what I've seen the last 6 or 7 months under, Graham Potter. We need to see a new way of playing, a new idea about football. And I think Nagelsmann is an ideologue. He's a guy that has a way of playing that demands a lot from his teams. He's going to demand high pressing. He's going to demand a lot of running. He commands that. We saw that against Bayern against PSG. They were pressing all over the pitch. And we may not even have the playing staff that wants to play that way, but I mean, ultimately, I want to see an idea of football come to fruition. And that's ultimately what you want. Like whether or not, wins and losses are we can't guarantee wins and losses, but we can identify with is a playing style that is, appealing to the eyes and is, identifiable with the playing staff that we have at our disposal right now, which we weren't seeing under Graham Potter. So again, Nagelsmann is likely a guy that we will be looking at to bring in, and I don't think that it's a bad appointment. I don't think that it's the ideal appointment. I don't know if any of the managers right now that are out there are, without their flaws. But again, if we're thinking about building a family and building a trust system and an understanding between the directors and the management and the playing staff, that is just a natural progression of, obviously we have Nkunku coming in as well, who worked with Nagelsmann at Leipzig, and of course Vivell as well. And all of these things are just culminating at to the fact that we just had a manager here that just did not get it. He did not match the identity of the club. He was a guy that came in with mid-table tactics, mid-table mentality, and produced mid-table results. And as a result, he was sacked. And, we need a manager that has an idea of what it means to play at a big club like Chelsea, where the expectations are extremely high. The level of football has to be at a high level. We have to be able to reel out 4, 5, 6, 7 wins on the trot. That's how you contend for titles. That's how you keep yourself in Champions Leagues and whatnot, by developing a consistent way of playing. And all of that was just void with this manager. So happy days, I'm not gonna lie. I think he's a great guy, Graham Potter, but he's just not the right guy for this club. His mentality just did not suit, the ethos of this club, the passion that comes from this club. This was not matched by this manager. And, hopefully with the next appointment, we have somebody that sort of fits the ethos of the club a little bit more seriously, not one that goes in front of the media after seeing an embarrassing 2-0 loss against Aston Villa, an embarrassing loss against Southampton, and say the boys gave everything. That is not everything. That's them meeting your expectation, which is not very high. And for that reason, you've fallen on your sword. And I'm glad they've done it. I don't wish ill for Graham Potter. I think he's a nice enough guy, but he's just not the right manager for this club. He's not a big game manager. He's not a manager that can coax big performances from big players. And, hopefully if it's Nagelsmann, who I really do think that that's likely going to be the case, he can, kick on and get us playing the style of football that we want to play and coax big performances from big players, because that's what we have at this club right now. We've assembled a club of players that are big name players in the game, and if the manager cannot meet the requirements that the directors have set out, then he needs to go. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, because I'm sure there's going to be lots of people talking about the exact same thing. I'm going to jump on a few streams and speak on it again, have my 2 cents there. But guys, it's happened. We have gotten rid of Graham Potter finally, and now we look to the future under potentially Julian Nagelsmann.